We can't hear you. Hey everyone, my name is Chris.
And my name is Hugh, and welcome to Thomann's Guitars and Basses. Woo!
Ooh, that was quick.
And to this concept of a video in which Chris has prepared something, and I don't really know what he wants to talk about. He just said we need to play loud and have fun.
A lot of those comments recently, you guys writing like, oh God, 110, 115 dBs, 120, over 120 dBs. I hope those guys are wearing ear protection, and those are going to be deaf within, a short period of time. And first of all, this is a very important subject, and we did talk about a little bit in the past. I think we had one video years ago where we kind of talked about this a little bit, but it wasn't really a dedicated video.
Yeah.
And the second thing is that it's not just an important subject, but I think it's also our responsibility to let you know that we're not that dumb. There are criteria and there are things that matter a lot, actually, when it comes to higher volumes and how you are handling it, if you're protecting your ears or not, etc. So I think the first thing that needs to be said is that I had an ear test, and I was a little worried because I'm a musician for I don't know how many, way too many years, and had been at concerts, festivals, did never pay attention to protecting my ears when I was a teenager. I was dumb as hell, as like most teenagers, and I was, and ever since, you're on stage, you have loud monitors, you have loud amps, you have a drummer, hits the crash like a madman.
Oh, drummers.
Yeah, so you have all those things happening, so I was worried, and it's all good. It's all in the green zone, which is cool. I've heard you said something that you have a natural born dip somewhere?
My granddad's deaf, my granddad before. So there's a bit of genetic conditioning as well, but I did lose. And I'm pretty sure that was like early rehearsal, early bands, pretty shitty amps, cranked way too loud in very small rooms.
Loud snares and
all. And I have like a pretty massive dip, at least on one side in the mids, like it's bell-shaped.
Okay, like, is it like 2-3K? Or higher?
No, it's a lower. Like lower. It's a useful mid-range dip that I'm missing.
I think the most important frequency for our hearing in order to understand other people, like the human voice. Clarity is like 3.5K.
But that's the one that's
just kind of
I think. There's I don't know, but it's worse in one ear than in the other, which also makes me think that that was
the
definitely
drums or the amp.
Exactly.
So
not great.
It is a very important subject, and it should not be laughed at
and taken lightly.
Because if it's gone, it's gone. Whenever we know that it's going to be a video that includes long minutes of very loud amps, and we're talking about loudness where even a musician who's kind of used to higher volumes would say like, oh, I can feel that. That's usually where it starts like, uh-oh. So we arrive to like 118 dBs or 120 dBs. That's not fun.
And at that stage, you also have to have a basic understanding of how dBs work. And if it reads 112 and it goes to 118, this is not 4 points more than when it's like it feels 4 like times. It's an exponential scale. So read up on that when you like see where we're at and like the evolution of those dBs, because it's
not linear at all. We have in-ear monitors without plugging it into anything, just to reduce the volume, or actual earplugs. That being said, we do enjoy some volume. Of course, it's best to avoid everything above 80 dBs, but we're guitar players, and this is what we live for. So some minor risk is worth taking if it's not long. And that is, I think, a very important key feature. That's something I've heard from ear doctors, from like people who are working in this whole ear thingy industry. Healthcare people, whatever.
Yeah, it was like the ear industry, the ear business out there.
Ear protection companies and like doctors and people who know more about this than us will say that the length of the exposure and the regularity of the exposure is super important, because those little hairs that transfer the waveforms in your middle ear to your brain, those will sort of swing around like on the field, right? The crops on the field. If the wind is too strong for too long, those crops, those ear hairs will just stay flat, and that's where they're like, useless. That's where
You're explaining science
you have
to me,
some
and I
issues
have
with your
that
hearing.
scene in Gladiator.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's way too deep already.
The field, and wow.
If you have 5 minutes of loud guitar, 112 dBs average or whatever, it's not good. But it's not gonna cause a massive amount of issue if it's like once every second week. And if you have that going on for an hour or half an hour, and you do that every day, or 8 hours a day because you work in a loud environment, that's is a
damage,
big problem. So that's where even 80, 85 dBs can cause issues. Well, because of the amount of hours every single day that you're exposed to those loud volumes. So when we make a video, we shoot a video for, what is it, 20 minutes to 1 hour. Depends on the video.
One shot wonders, really. So very quick. Done.
We usually take it like 20 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
From that, our playing section is like 10 minutes, 15 minutes
talking,
max. Yeah, a lot of talking, unfortunately, which gets cut it out. Because that's like a couple of minutes of loud guitar. And like this amp is really loud. Like this is, if I dig in, this is the Victory MK Clean. The mic is there, and if I go down with the volume and just play a bit of, like, you know, we usually don't play with a lot of compression or a lot of gain, so we have dynamics, which means that volume can drop to like half if we don't dig in.
There's also a big thing to be said about context. When we play like this, it's the two of us, we have the amps at knee level somewhere behind us.
In an acoustically well-treated big
massive room. It's so the time for those frequencies to disperse, and like also we're talking about transients, but if you know like anything about guitar or whatever, it's not a very high transient sort of instrument. Like even if we play dynamically and all of that, it's not drums, it's not a snare, it's not hi-hat and
no
cymbals.
Crazy peaks.
There's no boom, like and so those nice frequencies in a room that's well treated, that is gigantic, that's not directly in our ears or pointed at our faces. My feel, it was about 80 because the amp is like kind of in my general direction down there. So I would say that my reading of that volume was about on par with what the mics there was picking up.
Which is funny because the mic is in front of his amp.
Yeah.
Our amps are set the same way. Now if you play, let's see what the mic reads, which is in front of his speaker.
Yeah.
That's it.
Easy peasy lemon
105, which is
honestly not loud for us here.
Exactly.
It's just
it reads like, oh my god, and also it turns red, and it shows like, oh my god, be careful.
Yeah.
And you should, of course, but it's as Guillaume mentioned, this is a big room. Like you see less than 1/3 of this room. If you had a camera pointing that direction,
we can also
you would see the guitar tech tips. We'll show you a picture.
We'll
a swipe. It's a hole almost. It's a big studio room. All the treatment possible, no reflections. It is a very nice environment where loud volumes don't hurt at all. In a small rehearsal room that's not treated, has all those standing waves and weird booming frequencies and slapback echoes, and a drummer starts playing way too loud, and then a bass player starts playing way too loud, and then your guitar player, so you'll be the loudest, of course, right? And that's where issues happen real quick.
Egg cartons and carpets on the wall, we're good.
Yeah, which helps a little with the echo, but
we did that.
doesn't really help otherwise. It's the surrounding that matters. It's the length of exposure that matters. It's the frequencies that matters. That's the thing with not full range speakers, like good guitar speakers that have a very pleasing, beautiful voice, and amps and pedals that sound really good. It doesn't have to be expensive. He's playing the Tone City pedals right now.
Yeah, it's all Tone City.
It's 100% Tone City. Like, and it's a very different experience. And we don't have tinnitus after a working day like this. We don't have any issues, even though we're doing it for 7 years now. It's me.
The mic is making sound.
Okay, so this is his volume at my ear. Okay?
Yeah, we've seen that it goes up
This is
to
the mic.
105, right? And again, the mic was pointed up in front of the speaker.
So you are louder than I am. It was like 90, 91 dBs.
Merely.
Yeah, it's not quiet, but it's not 112 or 100 and whatever. What gets your ears in a big room like this is different than what a mic measures. That's where the microphone is, the microphone that we use for you to hear us.
There's a concept as well there, because as soon as there's a drummer, I'm going to wear ear protection.
Yeah,
if I'm at a show, I'm going to wear ear protection. In here, our job is also to be as precise as we can in our description of some sounds that we get from amps, from pedals, to distinct very small nuances in between that tube screamer and that tube screamer. That's literally our job here. And I feel like if I were wearing earplugs to call out those differences, I wouldn't be able to do it properly.
It's all a bit more muffled than
exactly.
Back in my early days of being a musician and a music fan and being at concerts in the first row, didn't really pay attention to anything and did rehearsals without any ear protection. Those were much more harmful than what we're doing here, even though the dB shows big numbers, right? But so be careful with your hearing, of course, and as soon as there's like a full band happening, use in-ears, even if it's just to protect your ears. It's not plugged into anything. You have some earbuds, just use those and try to save those two, because that's all we got. But still, enjoy volume, because it's awesome. It's the best part of like a loud, clean amp. Jeez, that's the only way clean guitar sound should be played.
Yes,
loud and full-bodied, but in a nice room. All right, meet you down there in the comments, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Bye-bye.
Bye.